So the theme that we have, which is a wonderful opportunity for us to pause and reflect upon, is that of prayer, the role of prayer. So the biggest obstacle to prayer is we're all so busy. Myself too, sometimes I'm choking on anxiety with all of the things that I perceive I have to do. And the easiest and the first thing for temptation to let fall by the wayside, of course, for me would be my holy hour. Oh my gosh, think of all the things I could do if I could get 1 hour of my life back on a daily basis, right? And I appreciate then how Mark frames this experience of Jesus. Now, one of the things Mark does all the time, in fact, he does it so often in English translation, they just omit the word the vast majority of the time, is Mark always employs the word immediately. Immediately he went to the synagogue, and immediately a man with an unclean spirit came in, and immediately Jesus did this, and then immediately that, and there's this like forceful urgency to the entirety of the gospel. So in the English translations, we just get rid of the word, but it's behind the message, and that's certainly the case here. And there's one time it actually survives into the English translation. So it says, Jesus, when he leaves the synagogue, so he's already done the preaching, he's cured a demoniac. This is in Capernaum. I've been there. Simon's house is just like a block away. It's a quick walk. So Jesus enters the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever. They immediately told him about her, right? So he goes from one teaching session, one curing of a demoniac, and immediately there's a woman who's ill that's thrust to his presence. He approaches her, helps her up, gets the fever out of her. She starts waiting on them, and then boom, they're bringing to him all who are ill, all who are possessed by demons. Mark says the whole town was gathered at the door. And this goes all the way late into the night. And he says he's curing those who are sick with diseases. He's driving out demons. How exhausted must he be? Right? Do you think he gets through everybody? Absolutely not. Hospitals have never seen lines this long before because he's curing them instantly, and it's setting the community on fire. But nonetheless, with all the things that he has going on, Mark says, rising very early before dawn, he left and went off to a deserted place where he prayed. Why? There's so many things to do. So many things to do. This is what goes on in our own minds, is it not? So much that needs to happen. And yet he knows that everything happens because of the Father. Everything happens because of the Father. And what he ought to be doing as he discerns the use of his time needs to come from the Father. He will identify himself as the one who has been sent by the Father. Well, where is it that the Father is sending him? Now, certainly there are countless good works that could be done in Capernaum. Is that why he's here? So in the morning, Simon and those who are with him, it says they pursued him, so you can feel the pressure. And on finding him, they say, everyone is looking for you, right? The world is demanding that attention. It's the feeling sometimes I get when I wake up in the morning and the pressure is applied right back onto my shoulders. You got stuff to do. And what does Jesus say? No, I actually have to move on from here. I have to go to another town. What? You can imagine the people of Capernaum. What are you talking about? Have you lost your mind? No, I haven't. I've heard the Father's voice, and I'm responding to it. We need the Father's voice in our life because there are forces always operating, demanding our attention, breaking in with a sense of urgency, always seeking us immediately. But if we're always reacting to the thing that's right in front of us, then we're never going to know if what's in front of us is what the Father wills for us. And if it's not what he wills for us, it's not going to bear the fruit that he has planned. That doesn't mean hearing the Father's voice is always easy. So we have Samuel, who's young now. He's the son of Hannah. And now he's in the temple. He's young and he's sleeping in the holy place. And the Lord is speaking to him, Samuel, Samuel. But what does he do? He runs over to Eli. He's getting the whole thing wrong, right? He's getting it wrong. So the first takeaway is the Lord is speaking. But the second is, it doesn't always mean we're going to understand him. And so discernment is a real thing when it comes to prayer. Samuel has Eli in his life, who on the third attempt goes, oh, wait a minute, I know what's going on. Samuel, next time you hear this, you have to say, speak, Lord, your servant is listening. And he does. And then his vocation sort of takes off from there. In the same vein, we need structures in our life that help us discern, like myself. So in the 12 years that I've been a priest, 3 times I was convinced in my bones the Lord was calling me to join the military. And 3 times I went through long processes of conversations, sessions with spiritual directors, meeting with chaplains, application processes with the diocese, ultimately culminating in a meeting with my archbishop that takes months to achieve, and then sitting down and saying, here's my case laid out before you, having written a formal letter of petition. And 3 times the bishop said no. And thank God, because if that's not God's will for my life, it would have been a huge mistake if I was off right now in a desert somewhere. I needed his office so that my discernment could find closure. And the church provides that for us as we seek to hear the voice of the Lord. So the Word of God today is a banquet for us. First of all, it reminds us of the essential nature of prayer, that it does need to be prioritized. It is more important than all the forces pressing into our life. And with that is the understanding that the Lord is in fact speaking. But though we may not always understand it, we need to seek opportunities in our life to help us in that discernment process so that we always know we are following the Good Shepherd and not anyone else.